Hey everybody, my name is Drew Jackson. I'm the founder and CEO of StreetMetrics.
And I'm Michael Steinberg. I am the Chief Revenue Officer here at StreetMetrics. I want to thank the OAAA for having us today. We're excited to be here, and we're going to get into it. So, Drew, why don't you tell the crowd how you got into the outdoor business, and then a little bit about the underlying technology?
Well, thanks, Michael. Well, unlike yourself, who has like 20 something odd years of experience in outdoor, I guess I'm a novice at best. I've been in this space for probably 5 or 6 years now, but we got in here because my family's actually in the transportation industry. We wanted to sell ads on the semi trailers, on our semi trailers. And so what we quickly found out was that if we were going to sell ads on semi trailers, we needed a way to measure the performance of the media. And so really with not many solutions that existed for dynamic fleet, we felt like the only way for us to compete in this industry was to build a solution internally as a competitive advantage. And that's what we did. And so we developed this and used it for ourselves, but we realized that the technology had way too much value and really needed to be at the hands of all media buyers and sellers in the industry. So we stopped selling ads on our semi trailers and started, licensing this technology to companies that were trying to sell ads on cars and buses, bikes, scooters, bicycles, you name it. Like there was just this big opportunity that we saw. And so StreetMetrics was sort of born out of necessity. And we really wanted to just simplify the solution that, to do this. So for us, it starts with tracking the vehicle. So we need to have access to the location of that vehicle. We can track that in a variety of different ways. And we're going to work with the operator to understand the media product that's actually on the vehicle itself. And based on that media product, we're going to develop what we call a dynamic visibility cone. And this is the area around the vehicle where if we see a person or a mobile device in this case, we believe they have a likelihood of seeing that ad. And from there, we just overlay the geolocation data, and we actually can start to identify, which specific mobile device was seen in proximity to the vehicle when it was in that specific location. And then once we do all of our analysis, we've built our own proprietary model internally that allows us to upsample and sort of normalize device stated population and derive at what we would call an impression. And all this information is surfaced within the StreetMetrics dashboard and given back to our operators on a daily basis. Our first guest of the day is Jim McCurtain, the Chief Strategy Officer at Vector Media. Excited to have you here today, Jim.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in. So tell us about what you wanted to accomplish with StreetMetrics during the Advent Health campaign.
Sure. Yeah. So Advent Health is one of the largest nonprofit healthcare organizations in the country and a longtime, really important partner of Vector's. So they're active in almost every form of media, and they look to transit advertising really for that kind of cost-effective mass reach in urban environments. And in the case of Orlando, definitely keyed in on reaching a broad, diverse audience. And so like any smart advertiser, they're watching their media investments closely. As we approached a renewal last year, they said, what can you do to kind of prove that we are in fact getting that efficient reach? And so we quickly turned to StreetMetrics for some help and to conduct a study that would bear out the actual delivery.
Cool. So you mentioned the client was on the fence about renewal. How did the data that StreetMetrics was able to surface impact the decision to renew?
So thankfully, you never know how these things will turn out, but thankfully the study showed great results. It showed huge delivery. At that time, Florida was fully open and Orlando was open as well. And so the audience delivery from an impression standpoint was big. And then from a demographic standpoint, it was pretty reflective of the overall population with a slight skew towards African Americans and Hispanics, which is exactly what they wanted. So having the data to back up, hey, what we believed you were getting, you are in fact getting, and here's the report and so on. And suffice to say that renewal was secured shortly thereafter.
Great.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jim. I remember specifically during the campaign, we noticed an anomaly. I remember you and I had a conversation, and we were sort of confused as to what was going on. And I think what we found during the middle of that campaign, we did a quick Google search, and we saw that Trump was actually holding his rally on October 2nd, and that just so happened to be the same day that we saw the impression spike, which was like really weird, and at the time, we just happened to be testing with an identity resolution company, and what we found was that the people that were exposed on that day were actually 2 times more likely to contribute to the Conservative Party than to the Democratic Party, which is just so fascinating to see. So, could you just give us your 2 cents on how having data like this can help Vector Media with their sales and marketing efforts?
Yeah, I mean, it helps Vector Media, but I think it helps the industry as a whole to have actual delivery, right? Because and from a planning standpoint, having general estimates on delivery really matters. But we all intuitively know that there's some variance on any given day, right? Maybe there's a weather impact, maybe there's a special event, and in this case, there was a big event. So when we have that good verifiable data of what actually happened day in and day out, not only does it confirm our intuition, make us feel very smart, but also it allows us to have some hard data that builds trust and confidence with clients, because everyone knows sometimes it's going to be slow on a Sunday morning when it's rainy, and then other times there's a big ball game or something like that, or in this case, a political event, and just naturally going to see a spike in numbers. So yeah, I thought that was awesome, and I point to that a lot when I'm talking to clients about our newfound ability to measure.
Well, Jim, thanks again so much for being here today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Our next guest is Faizan Badi, Head of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships at Lyft Media. Faizan, thanks for joining us today.
Of course, thanks for having me, Michael.
Now more than ever, it seems that being able to prove ROI, or return on ad spend, is a top priority of companies spending money in outdoor. With that in mind, what are some of the challenges you face when selling your medium?
Yeah, so great question. We are one of a newer mediums for out of home. So it's a new product in the market, which naturally means that we need to prove to advertisers and media buyers that this is a platform that's efficient and a platform that works. Traditionally, efficient implied that it could just be great for snazzy content, you show some videos, all very brand-based, but the expectations buyers have are very different now. So you need to have some kind of a performant medium to it as well, and that's what we're building here. And that's why it's very important for us to partner with companies like StreetMetrics, because it helps prove to us, for our advertisers and any partners, that this is a medium that actually works.
Yeah, I get that. Could you speak to the value StreetMetrics results provide Lyft when speaking with clients?
Absolutely. So what I really like about the report format is that, one, you guys delineate very clearly if it's a positive lift, neutral, or a negative lift. So that's helpful for us and our advertisers, because they need to know that when they serve the campaign, what happened afterwards. And by placing pixels on the website or doing an in-app study, advertisers can get a pretty realistic picture into how things are actually performing for them. So if they see a positive lift after their investment, they can see that if they put $1 into Lyft Media, where they're getting more than $1 back. So that leads to one of two things. One is recurring campaign. So if it works well for you, you'll continue investing in the platform. And two is it helps us develop excellent case studies. So if we run a campaign in a given industry that performs really well, that gives us that much more leverage as a new medium to be able to go to other companies from the same industry and say that, hey, this actually works, and here's some proof. So that's why it's been incredibly valuable to work, partner with you guys and work with a lot of our advertising partners together.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for that. Our final 2 guests of the day are Sarah Mayer, where she is the VP of Sales at Do It Outdoors, and Meg Ware, where she is the Senior Local Connections Manager for Anheuser-Busch. Excited to have you both here today.
Great to be here. Thrilled to be here.
Awesome. Let's dive into it. So Sarah, whenever you're planning a campaign for your clients, how do you think about designing a route specifically for them?
Yeah, so Do It Outdoors has the unique ability to customize hyper-local routing based on the client's campaigns and KPIs. So no two routes are the same. And it allows us to be extremely hyper-targeted as well as have mass market awareness in heavy traffic areas.
Sir, can you please just elaborate on some of the challenges Budweiser faced specifically with this campaign launching in the middle of COVID? I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say there was necessarily a challenge with launching during COVID because we found our mobile billboards were pandemic proof, adapting the routing to be where people were. And that was a really great tie-in for Budweiser because shift workers are essential employees. And so we knew that they were out there working tirelessly and taking our mobile billboards to them, whether that was targeting distributors, construction sites, hospitals, bars and restaurants, really focusing on where they are during the Labor Day launch. And we believe that Budweiser's target shift workers would be found in South Philly predominantly.
Great. Okay, thanks. So I have a question for you, Meg. Can you give us your thoughts on the outcome of this campaign and the value of the data Do It Outdoor was able to provide?
Sure. The fact that we were able to validate the routing to reach our core demographic was fantastic. Honestly, it was really telling to see our affinities so aligned with the Budweiser brand, particularly for this local campaign in Philadelphia, where outdoor and social type would do-it-yourselfers, eating outside, coffee lovers. We had a campaign as part of it with coffee sleeves and redeeming, coffee for later a Budweiser, all ties in. We found that that shift worker for Budweiser is not usually typically interested with technology, gaming, online shopping, which really supports our reasoning to leverage out of home and traditional radio in this campaign instead of leaning towards digital media.
Oh, awesome, that's great. And so that maybe in a more holistic vantage point, right? Is data becoming more important in the way you and Budweiser make decisions when you're buying moving outdoor media?
Data is absolutely becoming more important day by day as the measurement of validation increases and is being considered. Internally, we are using data, so the ability to connect our data with the data validation that you all have with out of home only continues to collaborate what we're working for and driving towards reaching our consumers and our target demographics with our campaigns.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Meg, Sarah, Faison, Jim, Michael. This has been an awesome presentation. We've really enjoyed sharing this and hope it was valuable to everyone. Thank you to all of our partners as well for just making this happen and all of the support. Just want to finally give a big shout out to OAAA and Geopath for putting this conference on and making this happen. We're grateful for everything you do for the industry and excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.